Hey, you know what?
What?
There can never be too many extension cords in your life. I'm always looking for one, and you keep buying one, you think, okay, I got everything covered, and then there's that one thing, it's like, well, damn, I got another thing. So you buy another extension cord, and then you don't realize you buy other things that got to be plugged in. So now you need, anyway, I'm on 6 extension cords right now.
But we're going to make
it
work.
We're going to make it work, and we're going to try and try and try. And I got 120 feet of extension cord in a room the size of a 10 by 15 foot. There, I'm ready. Let's go.
Awesome. Once again, welcome everybody to tonight's podcast on communication. I'm going to read a few key points on communication that I found online, and then we're going to get started. But I would like to note that had I communicated better, that tonight was the night we were recording, maybe it would have worked out a little bit better for those extension cords in you, Pops. He thought I was recording on Thursday, and that's my fault for not communicating correctly. So I thank you for joining us in such a hurry.
Are you saying it's not Thursday? It's not Thursday?
Well, they do all run together sometimes, don't they?
all right. They do that. No, it's okay.
I was online. I was just reading about some things before the podcast, and I was reminded of some things that I've learned a little while back. But communication is something that's, miscommunication is big, and effective communication is not always easy. There's some things that can affect us from communicating correctly, and some of those are stress and out of control emotions. So we should calm down when we have something that we want to communicate and make sure that we're not too stressed out about it, because we may come across the wrong way. Lack of focus can also affect communication if we don't fully know what's going on. If we're always on our phone and not really paying attention, it's really hard to get across that, number one, we're concerned or that it even really matters to us. Body language is another one. I would recommend looking that up online, because we're not really talking about body language tonight. But effective communication, you have to be an engaged listener. An active listening is something that I've worked on a lot, and I'm still continuing to work on it. But it's basically just repeating what you've heard so that you know that you're about to respond the right way. You have to focus fully on the speaker. You can't be distracted. And actually, a funny fact is favoring your right ear, because the left side of the brain is what deals with comprehension and emotions. So also, we don't want to interrupt each other while we're communicating tonight or anytime in the future, and we show interest in what's being said. Once again, that's active listening. We can't be judgmental. There's going to be times in life when I'm talking to someone that I might not necessarily vibe with, but what they're saying still has value. And then I'll provide feedback once we're done. So we're going to stop there and just kind of go into communication, because it's a big thing, right, Dad? Pops? It's like, if I don't know what's being said, I can't respond. But more importantly, and kind of why I wanted to do this podcast tonight, is that people call all the time or get asked all the time, advice, and I'm not real sure why, but I take it kind of as a compliment, I guess, if somebody would want to know my opinion on things. And I have a friend who's been going through some relationship stuff, and I recently have also been through some relationship stuff. And what I asked them is, like, have you said to this person exactly what you're telling me and let them know how you feel? And the answer was no. And so, barring the waste of any more time, I said, okay, well, until you do this, I don't really see any point in us moving forward, because that's your stopping point is they don't even know how you feel, and communication is such a thing that, like, I will get worked up over something because I think I know what someone's thinking, or I've listened to other people tell me what that person may or may not have said. But the bottom line, when it comes down to it, is if I haven't picked up the phone, set up a coffee date, or seen this person in person, and said, hey, do you have a moment, and conveyed my feelings on what's going on with my own mouth, and let them hear it with their own ears, waited for a response, and then received one, then I haven't communicated at all. I've just been in my head, and that's not a great place to be sometimes.
You're not talking it out. You're not getting it out there. I mean, if you're dealing with an issue in a relationship, And when it comes to the time of, it's time to talk about it. What's going on? But you need to do it in an appropriate way. I mean, you think it's just two people that we think we love each other. We really think we love each other. And then you come across an issue. Well, then you don't want to talk about it because you don't know the right way to talk about it. And you just can't go in there like a bull in a china cabinet and start slinging words. And you got to know exactly what those words mean. And you got to know where to put those words in a sentence. You got to know when to say those words. And if you come across in a calm and constructive manner, it will make things much easier. You'll see things coming. No one likes to feel under attack, especially in the two areas that they have the most difficulties, which is achievement and achievement in love. I'm not sure about what your friend's going through. I don't know if this is a long issue within himself. First, you got to be true to yourself, and you got to be ready to fight. And not physically, of course, we know that, but if you really believe in what you're doing, then you'll make it happen. So I'll turn it back over to you.
Well, and I think something you said that was important that I liked is that you have to know, you have to understand the meaning of the words that you're using, and not that I want to convey that anybody is not intelligent or educated, but in today's world, with so much slang and the use of emojis through text messages, which we won't get into, and all the other forms of communication, and not only that, but if you're in America where we're at, there's the possibility that, so many people are not native to here, and so they may speak another language. English may be their second language. And if I don't know the meaning of the word that I'm using, I can very much put myself at a disadvantage in being understood. And for me, communication, it needs to be about being understood, because the biggest problem that I've found in life is that I may tell someone what I'm thinking, but the way that I say it gives them no clue to what I actually mean. So active listening is important, that I repeat what is being said to me so that I can understand, and also so I set the example so that they feel comfortable doing the same thing, repeating what has just been said so that they have a chance to say, yeah, that's what I mean, and then responding with my thought. Also, just like you did, I'm going to turn it back over to you. I think that is important to have a stopping point, because if I'm not willing to let the person finish, how much are they going to feel like I respect their words? Make sense?
Right on. When your friends, okay, just don't necessarily use them. Anybody that is having a problem with okay, we've got to sit down, we've got to talk, and you're going to have the one that talks and the one that listens, right? You're going to have two people there, and it should be just two people, and then the listener has to make sure that he's not getting defensive, that the speaker is not getting defensive to the listener. But when you in this talk, you're talking to them, that intimacy has a little bit to do with this too. You might want to reach over and take their hand, or pat it every once in a while, and you say just a couple minutes what's on your mind. Just a few minutes. Like, once again, when you're public speaking, you can only do 2 or 3 minutes at a time, and you got to stop, and you got to ask if there's anything that you said that was not understood. You got to make sure everything is understood what you just said. And then you proceed to the next little thing. And you have an overall answer that you're searching for. So, when you break it down like that for just 2 or 3 minutes at a time, and you stop and you make sure that they fully understand what you just said, and is there any issues with that, then you can pursue to the next part of the question. The current, well, you don't want any more new issues over what you're already discussing. You're trying to find a resolution to this, right?
Yes.
Now, you ask each other, are you keeping up with the comments? And it's very important to follow up on past decisions. By doing this, you help each other trust each other as well as a process. It is a process. I mean, that's not very intimate by the words I'm using right now. How well do you know the person in front of you?
Yeah.
Now, how well do you know anything of this person in the past? How well has he been able to resolve problems in the past?
Right.
What are you looking for? Do you both want that? Can you both achieve that? Is what's going on in your life and his life, can they run side by side for a little bit and still communicate? And it's like, he's right there by my side. I'm okay. Or is one or the other going to get stingy? I need more time. But he's trying to achieve something else. I need more time, more of your time, but I can't give you any more time because I'm trying to achieve this, but I need more of your time. No, it's not. Now you're in a struggle again. How much time do you need of me? I'm not sure. Then we need to talk about this. I guess we do.
So an update on that situation, because it is a little bit in the past, but when I stood up for my own time and my own feelings and the fact that, this was cutting over into, now this is affecting my personal life, because as my friends I care about, and if my friend has an issue, then I don't want my friend to have an issue. And if I can help, I like to, but then I also have to understand my place in that. So when I directed to him that, I don't have anything else to say on this matter until you have taken the action on your part. Well, since then, he has taken the action. I would like to update the listeners, that this relationship was not something that was going to serve him in the long run. It was not something he needed to be in, and he found out some really, really true facts about the person that was involved. He was involved with, to the extent that he then was able to see clear as day that this is not someone I even want in my life. And so that relationship has been severed, and now I'm getting to watch my friend, kind of learn who he is now. And that's a really cool experience. But a lot of this, I would like to add, a lot of it was going on through text message. And I just want to emphasize to the listeners, especially like the new generation where everything is social media and it's all text messaging and posting and comments and all this and that. There's this word, and it's called inflection. And it is the act of what happens in a person's voice. And it conveys emotion and it conveys feeling. And if you're reading a screen, it's really, really hard to hear inflection. You don't hear anything at all. And so you definitely want to, if someone says something that concerns you, you definitely want to pick up the phone and you want to call that person if you're able to, or FaceTime them, because FaceTime is even better because you can see, or Google Duo, you can see their face, you can see their response to your question or your statement, and you can make a judgment off that, this person is or is not okay, or what I said was good or was not good for this person, and I need to address that. But as long as we look, there's so much miscommunication in the world because we just read a thing on a screen and our brain goes haywire trying to figure out what that might mean. Right. The simplest way to fix it is to pick up the phone and just make that phone call or that FaceTime and say, what did you mean?
You're absolutely right about just picking up the phone. Now, about communication, I know a lot of people, my life has been, I'm not snowed over, but an influx of parolees and people that are maybe on the wrong side of the law just for a little bit. And they're given a court date, and they're given some rules what you got to follow. And I'm talking about probation, parole. Now, for some reason, they get the number one failure of them failing on their conditions of parole and probation is they don't communicate. They're afraid to pick up that phone. I mean, that is a big percentage of them returning back to the system because that the probation officer does not want to send you back. He needs a success rate, and you need to be successful. If you just follow these guidelines, and if you can't reach all of them, just make a fucking phone call, and you won't be thrown back in orange. I mean, do you have a fascination with orange? It's like, it's not, the system, whole system of probation parole is set up. It's not a system for failure. Not all of it. Now, there's one in particular, it is, and I won't call it out because I've been asked to cease and desist on that subject for right now. Mm-hmm. But communication in a relationship is kind of like that. If you just make a fucking phone call, and if you give what you really feel, and you use communication, like, this is how I can explain it to you, so you give your canvas to them. You give your argument to them, and you stop and you said, is there anything that you don't understand there? Because you don't want to have to go rehash that shit.
Right.
You just want to keep going back and back. A dog will return to his puke. What does that mean, Grandma?
Dog
it's in the Bible.
Yeah.
Yes, it's like when you start bringing the Bible into it. Oh man, well, you can't argue with that, can you? In certain groups, anyway. But at the end of the day, you want to make sure you kiss your lover.
Yeah.
All right.
So, what I would like to also emphasize is, and you talking, if you've done everything you can, I recently experienced a situation in my own life where, I would like to mention that, not responding and non-communication can also be your biggest response from the person you're trying to communicate with. In today's world where there's a million ways to get a hold of someone, if you have sent the text messages, if you have made the phone calls, if you have taken a plane and moved to their city. If you've put yourself in front of this person in every possible way that you can, sometimes you still don't get a response. And what I would like to say that did for me, and what maybe it means for a lot of people, is that person is telling you everything you need to know by not saying anything. And what I mean by that is that, sometimes we communicate fine on the phone, but sometimes we don't fully understand what we want means. And when it comes time to actually act the part of what we've been playing the part of via long distance or on the telephone or FaceTime and all that, we find out that we weren't really ready. And I recently found out that, my other half, through lack of communication and non-response for, weeks at a time, she wasn't ready. And so, is there any less love? I don't think she loves me any less. I don't think I do. From a realist point of view, going about communication, doing everything that we can, if someone's not reciprocating at all, then the best thing that we can do sometimes is to take that as communication and walk away. And if time comes when they need to speak to you, then that's what the phones are for,
True.
And all that, like for big situations like that, I believe if you have the phone number, pick up the phone and call that person and tell them how you feel, because feelings are not inferred. We don't have ESP, nobody can read minds, and you feel a certain way and you're not in front of that person all the time, but they have no clue. And so it's my job to communicate my feelings, especially if it's long distance or a friendship that's been, separated by miles. The phone is your best friend, and if you're feeling hurt, if you're feeling left, if you're feeling abandoned or lost or confused on anything, it's your job, just like it was mine, to communicate that feeling, and through phone calls, messages, or however, voicemails. And once you've done that, you've done what you can do. If you don't hear back, you just have to keep living your life.
When you feelings get hurt, inadvertently you're gonna hurt someone's feelings. Now, you don't want to be a jerk when you're holding your ground. You don't want to be a Nazi. I can't believe I just said that. Okay, you got to admit when you said something wrong or stupid. Like, look, not all my jokes are funny. I'm not all fuzz and warmy. I'm like, so it's easy if you get your partner just to yourself to be imperfect. I want to sit down here, and I'm not perfect. I'm going to start talking to you as best as I can. And once you get comfortable with, or I get comfortable, it's like he's giving it all. You cannot ever outdo someone's best. I don't give a damn who you are. If you're in a race and a 9-year-old wants to get involved in that race, and we're talking these are Olympic racers, if he wants to get involved in that race, he trains for it, he gives it all, and he starts when the gun fires off. When he gets to the finish line, he is the biggest winner of all. You never can outdo his best. And deep conversations, the kind, the ones that you laugh and you cry, and then you get mad, and then you start laughing again. That's a deeper sense of connecting, of knowing who the person is next to you, or really know if that partner truly cares for you and for the relationship that you are trying to be in. And when the two of you can spend the entire night talking, this is someone you can spend a lifetime with. Your conversations will get deeper and deeper as time goes by, as will your love for each other. Anyway, after everything else fades, your deep conversations can keep you stay connected forever, even if you're not laying side by side. Yeah. You don't want to end up with enemies. You want to try to end everything in a resolution to walk out, and everyone still has their fingers and toes. Everyone still has their dignity. You want to, if it can't work out, then let's go back to being friends. I don't want to make any more enemies. God knows I've got enough of them. And I'm trying to work on them, knocking them out too. So, anyway, communication, it's like, when we understood that communications as cavemen, that was, we thought that was humans. I wasn't there. You weren't there. We could only guess, when he made the first grunt noise and pointed to something, that meant, I'm going to hit you in the head. The English language period has evolved as humans evolved, and but the overall feeling of wanting to be with someone, to connect with someone, was, we had babies, right? We evolved, so we know they were messing around, or at least the out of feelings started producing. A feeling was a communication, and then to get that feeling across, we started using gestures and sounds. And look what we got now. We still murder the language. God, did we ever take a word that means, oh man, that's dope, and so apparently that means that's good, or what? I don't get it. So we murdered language and we twisted it around to make it fit into our lifestyle, or that's cool. They come up with a new meaning for dope, and let's just, I don't know.
Yeah, that was marijuana back in the day when my dad would talk about it.
Right. Yeah. Well,
was that Mary Jane? And it,
Mary.
Look how far
and Lucy in the sky.
People have communicated that they want that so much that now it's starting to become, they're starting to find a use for it. But like
it's a mainstream.
Yeah. So, and that would have, we'd never be looking at marijuana on the ballot for recreational or medical use.
I never thought.
Communicated the effects and the benefits and things like that, and then had debates and arguments where they listened to each other and then responded. And then, effective communication is it's good at a job. It's good in relationships, with friendships, and in life in general, even at the supermarket. If there's something is wrong labeled, you ask, is this not correct? And then they look at it, and that's the only way we get anything done or across and accomplished. And I think I want to thank you for joining me tonight on this. I think you've added some great things, and I always love to hear what you have to say about life. And I think we have learned over the past 12, 13 years that we don't always communicate the best. But what we do is we always leave that door open for – I am grateful that you always leave that door open for me to come back and say, hey, I might have been wrong.
Right, and vice versa. I said some things where I knew I was going right for your throat. I admit it right now. I was going right for his throat. But for something inside of you, though, you knew I was going for your throat, but you still came back or I still went back and was trying to find you. It's like, look, this is what I really meant, and I hope I had a chance to tell you. And the door was always open, and I had a chance to explain myself. You were going through something, or I was going through something. Those two people had to understand that we are going to go through some shit, and I don't want to bring you with me, and you can't come along.
Yes.
So that's another form of love and respect. Like, look, I can go down through there, and I can't bring you with me. Well, you narrow-minded son of a bitch. It's like, no, you don't understand. I don't want to bring you. I don't want to take you. You don't want me to go. You don't want me to ride with you. I'm your dude. You know, I'm your guy. And look, goddammit, I'm going to get in this car, and I'm going to go somewhere, and you're not going to follow me. I'm going to change my number. I'm not going to answer any emails because I'm protecting you.
Yeah.
And that's a different type of love.
Yeah.
Anyway, well, you have a good night.
You too. As always, namaste.
Namaste. If you don't, it's your own damn fault. Your own damn fault. All right.
Until next
namaste.
time. Until next time. Bye.